Hello and welcome to the Inspired Lens. I'm your host, Silas Lounge. Have you ever felt like you've hit a wall? Not just a small hurdle, but a towering, insurmountable obstacle that leaves you breathless, wondering how you'll ever get past it? Maybe it was a rejection letter for a dream job, the unexpected end of a relationship, a project you poured your soul into failing spectacularly, or that persistent, nagging voice of self-doubt telling you you're not good enough. If you've nodded along to any of that, you're not alone. Life, in all its beautiful complexity, has this uncanny ability to throw curveballs. It tests us, pushes us, and sometimes, frankly, it knocks us flat on our backs. We call these moments adversity. And while they feel intensely personal, deeply isolating when we're in the thick of it, the experience of facing and navigating hardship is one of the most universal human threads connecting us all. Today, we're diving deep into these narratives of overcoming adversity. We won't just talk about challenges, we're going to explore the messy, uncomfortable, but ultimately transformative process of navigating them. We'll share stories, unpack the lessons hidden within the struggle. Talk about how resilience isn't just something you have, but something you build, and discover the incredible personal growth that often blooms in the soil of difficulty. So grab a cup of something warm, find a comfortable spot, and let's get inspired together. When we hear adversity, our minds might jump to huge, life-altering events. And yes, those certainly count. Loss, illness, major trauma, these are profound challenges. But adversity wears many faces. For young professionals, for anyone starting out or navigating change, it might look like imposter syndrome in a new role. The constant pressure to succeed, financial stress, creative blocks, or the sting of comparison in our hyper-connected world. It can be the external challenge. The job market downturn, the project budget cut, the critical feedback. Or it can be deeply internal, battling anxiety, overcoming procrastination rooted in fear, or learning to trust yourself after a mistake. The key realization isn't if we'll face adversity, but when and how. It's not a sign of weakness or failure to stumble. It's part of the terrain of a lived life. Recognizing this can be incredibly freeing. It shifts the focus from why me to, okay, this is happening. What now? Think about the kintsugi masters in Japan. The art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. They don't try to hide the cracks, they illuminate them. They understand that the piece is more beautiful and unique because it was broken and repaired. Our lives, our careers, our sense of self can be much the same. The cracks, the setbacks, the failures, the moments of doubt don't have to diminish us. They can become part of our story, highlighted with the gold of resilience and wisdom gained. Let me share a story about someone we'll call Alex. Alex was a young graphic designer, incredibly talented, and had poured months of late nights and weekends into a pitch for a massive client, the kind of client that could launch a career into a new stratosphere. Alex researched, brainstormed, sketched, refined, and created a proposal that felt like a piece of their soul. They walked into that pitch meeting feeling confident, prepared, maybe a little nervous, but overwhelmingly optimistic. And then, they didn't get it. The feedback wasn't even harsh. It was polite, professional. We went in a different direction. But for Alex, it felt like a physical blow. The rejection wasn't just about the client. It felt like a rejection of their talent, their effort, their dream. The initial days were rough. Motivation plummeted. Self-doubt screamed. Every social media post showcasing someone else's success felt like salt in the wound. Alex considered switching careers, wondering if they were cut out for the competitive design world at all. This wasn't just a setback, it felt like a dead end. But then, something shifted. It wasn't instantaneous. It started small. A friend, noticing Alex's slump, dragged them out for coffee, not to offer platitudes, but just to listen. Then, a former mentor reached out, having heard about the pitch attempt, and instead of sympathy, offered a different perspective. Okay, that door closed. What windows might be open? Slowly, tentatively, Alex started reviewing the rejected pitch, not with self-blame, but with curiosity. What could be learned? Were there elements that could be repurposed? Could the research be valuable elsewhere? Alex started experimenting with a passion project inspired by an idea sparked during the pitch research. Something smaller, more personal, with no client pressure. That passion project, shared online without expectation, started getting attention. It resonated with a niche audience. It led to collaborations Alex hadn't even considered before. It didn't replace the big client dream overnight, but it built momentum, restored confidence, and ultimately led Alex down a different, arguably more fulfilling, creative path. What are the lessons here? First, allow yourself to feel the disappointment. Ignoring or suppressing the hurt doesn't work. Acknowledge it. It's okay to grieve a lost opportunity. Second, seek connection, not just validation. Alex's friend listened. The mentor offered perspective. Sometimes just knowing someone is in your corner is enough. Third, reframe rejection as redirection. The no wasn't an endpoint, it was a detour sign. It forced Alex to explore other avenues. Fourth, take small, manageable actions. Alex didn't immediately try to land another huge client. They started a passion project. Small wins build momentum. Alex didn't magically become immune to disappointment, but they learned that a setback wasn't a full stop. It was a comma, a chance to pause, reassess, and write the next sentence differently. Alex's story beautifully illustrates the process of building resilience. It's not about having an impenetrable shield against hardship. It's about developing the flexibility and strength to bend without breaking, and the capacity to bounce back, maybe even bounce forward. So, how do we actively cultivate this? It's like building muscle. It requires intentional practice. Here are a few key tools for your resilience toolkit. 1. Mindset shift. Control the controllables. When adversity hits, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by everything going wrong. Resilience involves consciously shifting focus to what you can control. You might not control the job market, but you can control updating your resume, networking, or learning a new skill. You can't control someone else's reaction, but you can control your response. Alex couldn't control the client's decision, but could control how they processed it and what they did next. 2. Practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a good friend going through the same thing. We're often our own harshest critics, especially after a setback. Replace "I'm such a failure" with "that was really tough and I'm disappointed, but I did my best with what I knew then. What can I learn?" Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion is fantastic here. Treat yourself with kindness, recognize your shared humanity, everyone struggles, and practice mindfulness, acknowledging feelings without judgment. 3. Cultivate connections. As we saw with Alex, human connection is vital. Build and nurture your support network. Friends, family, mentors, colleagues, therapists. Don't be afraid to reach out, both to give and receive support. Sometimes just voicing the struggle lightens the load. 4. Embrace adaptability and flexibility. Resilience often means letting go of a rigid plan and being open to new possibilities. The world changes, circumstances shift. Being able to pivot, like Alex did towards the passion project, is crucial. This requires a learning mindset, seeing challenges not just as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn and adapt. 5. Find meaning and purpose. Connecting your struggles to a larger sense of purpose can be incredibly grounding. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, wrote powerfully about finding purpose even in the most horrific circumstances. On a smaller scale, ask yourself, what values are important to me? How can I live those values even amidst this difficulty? How can this experience help me grow or help others later? Building resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about navigating it effectively, learning from it, and integrating the experience into your stronger, wiser self. Now, let's talk about a different kind of adversity, one that lives inside many of us: self-doubt. That persistent inner critic that whispers or shouts that you're not smart enough, talented enough, or deserving enough. This was something I personally wrestled with for years, especially early in my career. I remember preparing for my very first public speaking engagement. It wasn't even a huge audience, maybe 30 people. But in my head, it felt like Wembley Stadium. My inner critic was having a field day. You're going to forget everything. People will see right through you. You have nothing valuable to say. Who do you think you are? The physical symptoms were real: racing heart, sweaty palms, sleepless nights. It was paralyzing. The adversity here wasn't an external event, but an internal battle against fear and perceived inadequacy. Canceling seemed like the only safe option, but a part of me knew that avoiding it would only make the fear stronger next time. So how did I navigate it? It wasn't a single heroic act, but a series of small, intentional steps. First, I named the fear. I acknowledged the voice of self-doubt instead of trying to fight it directly. I recognized it as fear, not fact. Second, I prepared meticulously. Knowing my material inside and out didn't silence the fear, but it gave me a foundation of competence to stand on. It addressed the rational part of the fear. What if I forget? Third, I practiced visualization, not just visualizing success, but visualizing myself feeling nervous and still doing it, accepting the nerves as part of the process rather than a sign I shouldn't be there. Fourth, I focused on contribution, not perfection. I shifted my goal from giving a flawless performance to sharing something potentially helpful with the audience. This took the pressure off me and put the focus on the message. Fifth, and perhaps most importantly, I sought feedback afterwards. Not validation, but constructive feedback from a trusted colleague. This helped ground my perception in reality, rather than letting the inner critic's distorted narrative take over. The presentation wasn't perfect. My voice probably shook a little at the start, but I did it. And the world didn't end. People were actually engaged and kind. The growth that came from that experience wasn't just about public speaking. It was about learning to manage my inner critic. It was understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting despite the fear. It taught me that vulnerability, showing up even when I felt unsure, was actually a strength. Each time I faced that fear afterwards, it lessened its grip. Not because the fear vanished, but because my belief in my ability to handle it grew. Lessons from this internal battle. 1. Acknowledge the inner critic. Recognize it as a pattern of thought, not objective truth. 2. Preparation builds confidence. Competence is a great antidote to fear. 3. Shift focus outward. Concentrate on purpose or contribution rather than self-evaluation. 4. Embrace imperfection. Done is often better than perfect. Progress over perfection. 5. Courage is action. Despite fear, it's a muscle you build by doing the scary thing. So, from Alex's unexpected detour after rejection to the internal battle with self-doubt, what are the golden threads we can pull from these narratives of overcoming adversity? 1. Adversity is universal. Growth is optional. Everyone faces challenges. The difference lies in how we respond. We can let setbacks define us, or we can choose to learn and grow through them, transforming them into part of our unique kintsugi story. 2. Resilience is a skill, not just a trait. Like any skill, resilience can be cultivated through conscious practice, shifting mindset, practicing self-compassion, building connections, staying adaptable, and finding meaning. It's an ongoing process. 3. Process the pain, then pivot to learning. Allow yourself to feel the difficult emotions, disappointment, fear, frustration. But don't stay stuck there. Gently shift your focus towards extracting lessons. Ask, what did this teach me? How can I use this experience? 4. Small steps. Create momentum. Overcoming significant challenges rarely happens in one giant leap. It's usually the result of consistent, small actions taken over time. Celebrate those small wins. They fuel the journey forward. 5. Your story matters. Sharing our struggles, when we feel ready, can be incredibly powerful, both for ourselves and for others. It reminds us we're not alone and turns personal hardship into collective wisdom. Your actionable insight for this week. Think about a small challenge you're currently facing, or one you've navigated recently. It doesn't have to be monumental. Maybe it's a tricky conversation you need to have, a skill you're struggling to learn, or a moment of self-doubt you experienced. Take 5 minutes this week to consciously apply one of the resilience tools we discussed. Maybe practice self-compassion around it, focus on what you can control, or simply acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Notice how that small shift feels. Adversity shapes us. There's no doubt about that. But we have more agency than we often realize in how it shapes us. By embracing the lessons within the struggle, by actively building our resilience toolkit, and by recognizing the profound potential for growth that lies dormant in difficulty, we can learn to navigate life's inevitable challenges, not just with endurance, but with grace and strength. We can learn to see the gold in the cracks. Remember, your journey, with all its twists and turns, its highs and lows, is crafting a unique and powerful story. Don't underestimate the inspiration your own narrative of overcoming might hold. Thank you for joining me on The Inspired Lens today. I hope this conversation has offered some comfort, perspective, and perhaps a little spark of inspiration for your own path. If you found value in this episode, please show your support. Like this video, subscribe to the Inspired Lens channel for more inspiring content, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future episodes. We'd love to hear from you. Comment below and share one lesson you've learned from overcoming a challenge, or perhaps a resilience strategy that works for you. Your insights enrich this community, and if you know someone who might benefit from hearing this message today, please share this episode with them. Until next time, keep looking at the world and your own incredible journey through an inspired lens. Take care.